We're moving to Philippines. How do you share that type of news with your friends, your family, your employer? Well, me and my wife Judy, we spent hours, evenings trying to find the right way to tell them. And I can tell you something we learned. There seems to be no perfect angle that fits every single one of them. In this video I want to share with you how it went telling all of the people that we love, the people that we work with, how their reactions were, what were the consequences for us at work, and what you might want to keep in mind if you're considering to share news this big to the people that are the closest to you. And since this is getting kind of awkward, let's hop on our couch so I can tell you how it went. My friends actually took it quite well. We were at a birthday party in early of December. Me and Judy, my wife, we talked a lot on how are we going to bring this news. This plan is becoming serious. It's not just an idea, we're actually going to pursue this. We have to bring it out because this takes so much of our time and we are so enthusiastic about this. We cannot keep this a secret. That doesn't feel right. And we didn't plan on dropping the bomb. But we didn't get the chance because at that birthday the conversation at a bonfire was about the future plans, what is the next step. Now we all in the friend group kind of have our own house, like okay, what's next? And then somebody fired the question at me and I'm too honest, I'm not a good liar, lucky for me and my surroundings, but I flapped it out. We're actually thinking to go to Philippines. And like the whole group kind of went silent and was like, oh shit. Because we did drop some details about looking into lot prices, building a house. We kind of shared some things here and there, so it didn't come completely out of the sky. But the fact that we were actually planning to move, well, that was obviously new. Nobody responded negatively. They did fire a million questions, as you could probably imagine. But it was not an attack with questions, but some of them were like, why would you consider doing that now? Why not when you're like 50 years old? And this type of stuff. I'm happy that one of my friends jumped in at the question, like, why wouldn't you do this when you're like more towards retirement? He has a very sick family member and he was like, yeah, who says that you will even make it until 50 or 60? Like, if this is your dream, dude, do it. And I was happy with his like kind of not choosing sides, but helping me along navigating this conversation. So they took it well. The family also took it well, I would say. But it was kind of a weird situation because we definitely, after we dropped it on the friends, me and Judy had a kind of sense of urgency, like, okay, now it's out. We need to share it to family as well, but when? And we were at a Christmas lunch at my mother's place with my brother, my mother, my sister, husband, kids, everything. They were sitting on the dining table and I'm just chit-chatting to my brother across the table, and Judy was sitting here with my mother, husband of my mother, my sister, husband of my sister, everyone. And I casually hear her dropping in the corner of my ear, yeah, no, we're planning to move to Philippines actually next year. And I was like, holy shit, how's this gonna land? And well, I expected my mother to go upside down because usually she does need some time to kind of figure out what she thinks about things. And I expected her not to understand why you would leave a country like the Netherlands, stable and financially well as it is. But it was kind of sort of acceptance from the get-go. And that was confusing as well because I didn't expect that. Of course, some questions around like how do you plan and what term then and this and that. They took it quite well. So sometimes, like, the advice I would like to give you is we took evenings with hours full of talking together, me and Judy, and we overthink it so much, and she just like fluffed it out there and it landed quite softly. So don't overthink it. There will be emotions, there will be questions, so be prepared for questions and be prepared to admit if not everything is yet filled in your plan. But don't overdo the thinking because you cannot really predict how people are going to respond anyway. Just do understand their perspective, because I think that's something I would say that what I find complex in this situation is that every step that we get closer to achieving our, not goal, but the move, finding a school for Theo, we did find, I shared in another video, that we found a street in Clark that makes us enthusiastic, and we had a digital viewing, and we really do have a feeling that we're going to start in that street. So these steps are making us very enthusiastic because the picture of our future is becoming more and more clear. And that gives us also a feeling of confidence. And every time you achieve such a step in the weekend, you're visiting friends and you're like, hey, how are you doing? How's the plan coming along? And it's a bit of a generic question. But when you dive directly into it, like, yeah, we found this place, we're super enthusiastic, this is what it looks like. They are enthusiastic as well, but in their response, there is a slight taste and a very understandable taste of, I don't know if it's pain, but every step that you take is a step for you towards your goal, but for them, it's a step further away from them towards the reality without you. And I think that's, again, very understandable, but for me it makes it sometimes a bit difficult to navigate, because sometimes when you're very enthusiastic about something, you do feel the urge to balance out your enthusiasm and kind of keep that a little bit to yourself, because you know that what you're about to share again is potentially inflicting pain or already feelings of missing you. You're still here, but step by step you're less here. But at work, yeah, it's interesting. I'm very close to my manager. I already worked with him for 8 years, something like this, 7 years maybe. And we are very close, very personal. We know a lot about each other's private life. We share a lot, and that's great. So for him, bit by bit, he already started to get snippets from the plan, when I also started to check with him if leaving for 3 months would be well, unpaid or paid, or like how that would work. So for him, the moment that we shared like, okay, we're actually aiming for next year, didn't come as new until I started to apply for another position in the company. Some position that I thought would fit me for the last year, made more sense for the last year, because the project has like a clear beginning and an end, and the end is matching quite well with the period of time that we are planning to leave. But that meant having a meeting with HR and another manager that I never worked with, I'm not familiar with. And then things took a turn not for the worse, but stuff got serious with people I didn't know so well that did pick up the sounds throughout the company of my plan. And they were kind of like, yeah, okay, but we heard that you're leaving in the first quarter of next year, and yeah, we don't really know if we should trust the fact that you're gonna be motivated all the way along, because we do need someone that's gonna take that team and really go for it, because that's what the team needs. Yeah, give us some indicators that you're up to that task. I mean, we know that you had that team before successfully, but yeah, that was a totally different time, totally different ball game, and you're not planning on moving away from the company. And that's the moment I thought, oh shit. If you're planning to drop a bomb like this, do consider that you're sharing something that for you makes you happy, that makes you enthusiastic, but for your employer it means there will be a gap at your seat, and the time from the moment you share it until the moment you leave, they are already thinking ahead, and that thinking ahead doesn't include you anymore. Be aware of that, and be aware of the fact that when you're sharing it to friends and family, that every step for you is a step for them, leading you further away from them, and that comes with feelings. It's a difficult thing to navigate. Just don't overthink it, and I would say always be honest. Like, if you just share your true feelings and maybe even your confusions, like I have now, I do share this with friends also. Like, I find it difficult to navigate my enthusiasm, because I understand that for them it's not such a fun thing. Consider that. What you should also consider is subscribing to this channel, so you can see how this gorgeous story or this potential disaster will unfold. Please consider liking this video as well, because it might help the channel grow. And I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.